Just to keep everything honest, by the way, this podcast was recorded on the Friday. We normally do the podcast on the Thursday, but I had somewhere to go yesterday, and so we're doing these on the Friday. And I know that a lot have happened in the political world in the UK over the last 24 hours. However, this is what I've prepared for you. So you're gonna
Yeah.
have to
Yes, it is
suck
news today. Yeah.
suck it up, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to rain on your parade. I didn't mean to piss on your fireworks. I didn't mean to butt in. These are phrases we use when we interrupt what everybody thought is the status quo. But we break that paradigm and we use one of these phrases, but of course we don't mean it. It's just pro forma. It's just what we say. It's just what we say, a very shallow apology to say I spoilt it for you. And that's exactly what the US has done when it comes to dealing with peace between Ukraine and Russia, kicking the European nations to the minor places when it comes to sitting round the table. While the Europeans threw all their money they don't have at Ukraine as a loan, signing their 100-year deals, along comes the US with its big boots on and takes over the show, saying in a loud voice, this war will end and we want what's underground so we get all our money back. So get ready. That's
Yeah.
what the US is saying. This put Germany, France, and UK in a bit of a difficult position because they themselves were arranging to get Ukraine to make a peace deal and in a very diplomatic way ask for their money back. They forgot they forgot other things. Firstly, they were minor investors in the wider scheme of things when it comes to war in Ukraine. Secondly, Ukraine is on a very naughty boys list when it comes to corruption. And thirdly, they were banking on Trump not getting re-elected as commander-in-chief of the US. So now it looks very likely they will not get back as much as what they thought. With sanctions being made, they made a rod for their own backs as their economies are crashing because of the cost of energy, principally gas. And their arms are at stocks that are critically low levels because they gave it to Ukraine, albeit a majority of it second-hand stuff.
Yeah.
However, they did replenish, and because they gave it to you, allowing Ukraine to sell it also on the black market to make money for its ministers. So they find themselves at the back of the queue. Any return on investment and almost entering into a financial depression. Even more so since the US put tariffs on their goods. A perfect storm, if you will.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
are. Wriggle
Well,
out of that.
who wrote this badly constructed political thriller? I mean, really, that's what it is. It's it's a very yeah. You're sitting here. We're sitting here laughing at it. Yeah. You can't do anything else but laugh at it. Yeah. I mean, okay. When you play politics, which is what it is. Okay, let's imagine it's a big game of politics. Yeah. And yeah, you're always going to have ifs and buts, and what do we do if this happens? Yeah, I mean, yeah, the big spoiler in the real fly in the ointment, and I don't know how anyone else inside politics didn't see it coming, was Trump winning. Yeah, I mean, let's just look who he was running against. I mean, you'd have to be okay. People will vote for people for various different reasons. I'm not suggesting anyone that would be voting for Harris is not totally competent.
The
Um,
thing is, Harris was receiving Harris campaign, sorry, was
yeah,
receiving an awful lot of big money,
yeah,
very big players.
yeah,
But as Doge is going through, raking through the US
mm,
system now,
yeah,
it would surprise me if a lot of this black money that is being doled out by the system in the US was going to the Democrat party campaign.
Well,
But
somehow,
yes, I digress.
yeah. I mean, okay,
I don't know about European.
$1 billion, but yeah, but okay, we all knew I mean, there's BBC reports from 2014 that are still available online if you look clever enough for them, talking about Ukraine and the corruption and everything else. Even with its current administration there, that doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. They can't go anywhere. It's
The back room boys, Mark.
Well, of course. I mean, they exist everywhere. I mean, okay, we're not conspiracy theorists as such. But yeah, there's always the other angle. And as I always say to younger people in this world now, I said, there's one thing my 55 years has taught me: the most important agenda is the hidden agenda. Yeah, I don't care what I can see; it's what I can't see I'll worry about. Yeah, yeah. I can see that this person's a complete idiot. Who's keeping that idiot there? Yeah. Um, yeah, whose benefit is this? And when somebody comes out, I've got a better idea. For whom? Yeah. Yeah, okay. But yeah, it's yeah, Ukraine didn't exactly have a good reputation. I mean, let's be honest about it. All we knew about Ukraine is this country in Eastern Europe that was reasonably quite big. I mean, even when before the war kicked off, anyone that didn't understand geography, didn't know how big Ukraine was. Yeah. We knew how big it was because you've traveled a bit of the world. I've looked at a map of a couple of times. Yeah. Um, Ukraine just didn't appear overnight. It's one of the Eastern Europe countries that hasn't really been formed because of anything, yeah, any splitting up or dividing and all that. Admittedly, the Ukrainians historically have always had a bad run of it. Whenever they get a bit of independence, somebody comes and takes them over. But you could say that about the history of Russia as well. So let's not yeah. Yeah, they've always had a bad time of it, the Ukrainians, wherever they come from. And let's not also forget some of the Ukrainians are Russian as well, in effect. Not just yeah. Um, they are a yeah, they're having a bad lot of it. Now we all knew what was happening with this money that was going to Ukraine. And when the president of Ukraine, when he's challenged, says, well, I don't know where the money's gone. Yeah. At least he's being honest. He probably really doesn't. Um, there's a big difference between not knowing where it's gone and actually caring about where it's gone. Does he really care about it? I mean, yeah, he's been getting his conveyor belt. Suddenly the conveyor belt's stopped. Yeah, and he's panicking. Trump has said, "Well, I'm not paying." Well, the administration in Brazil, Trump can't do this on his own. He's not. He's more than one man. He makes the executive decisions, but yeah, somebody else has stopped the sweeties going into Ukraine, and Europe's not happy about it from the US, that is. And more or less, the administration of Ukraine said, well, it's a European problem. And suddenly the Europeans said, well, we do still need it to be an American problem, a US problem, although we criticize anything the US do. Yeah.
Well, as I see it, and the whole point of this little conflab that I gave at the beginning is that the Europeans thought they were quids in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The Europeans thought this is plain sailing. Donald Trump's going to lose the election.
Yeah.
The money's going to keep coming in swathes from the US, and when we eventually do work out a peace deal, we'll be getting all our money back plus interest plus the rest. And of course Donald Trump came along, won the election, put his big boots on,
yeah,
and told the European Union to FO.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. We were doing podcasts about this, and we predicted all this. Yeah,
yes,
did we?
Probably.
Well, yeah, indirect, yeah, different things. We said, yeah, this is the likely scenario.
We always touch on subjects without going. I mean, this is the first time that we've touched this, that we've gone a little bit more profound in this subject.
Okay, yeah, well,
but we have touched on it from the outside, just
yeah. I mean, it's a worrying situation. What's happening? I wouldn't want to be Ukrainian at the moment because what I said a while ago, Ukraine is the only people who are not going to be owning Ukrainian when all this is over is the Ukrainians. Yeah, they're not going to get the benefits of any of their commodities. Um, Anything coming out of the ground is going to disappear off into Europe or the US or be controlled by them at the very least. Um, it's going to be interesting what happens with the relationship between Ukraine and Russia when this is all finished. Yeah, I imagine it's not going to be a big loving instance. Yeah,
Well, I mean, it wasn't when after the Second World War with Poland,
no,
but I mean, it all heals up in the end.
yeah. I mean, there comes a necessity. Okay, the cause of the war, we've always said we don't support Russia, but yeah, what's happening is happening now, and they've got to start talking. Um, I've had Brazilians tell me that they think, do you think Zelensky is a bit of a puppet? Do I think it? Do I really think it? um, well, I'm not thinking too hard about that one. I don't have to analyze that too much. Yeah, I feel very sorry for the Ukrainians. I mean, in all this, yeah, we're joking. I mean, the one people I do feel sorry for are Ukrainians. They didn't ask for this mess. Um, when they last voted in the US in a free democratic election, they voted for a more pro-Russian
I think it was
administration.
Poroshenko. It's
Yeah,
Poroshenko, like that.
yeah. Okay, whatever we might think the rights and wrongs of that. Um,
It's their problem.
yeah. Now suddenly we've now inherited this issue. And don't forget, I mean, yeah, there was actually a good trade agreement between Russia and Ukraine before there was Western European involvement. However, whoever sponsored the Western European, what happened in the Ukraine in 2014, yeah. Um, so they had their agreements, and Russia had access to the port in the south of the country and everything else. And yeah, okay, I won't say everything was tickety boo, but it was a workable agreement that could have probably been refined a bit more to make it even better for everyone. But that would have annoyed Western Europe and the US at the time. Now we've got an administration in the US that's really said, I'm going to put my people on the ground there. If you're going to continue on with that, you will be confronting me legitimately. And I F about and find out. Yeah. And I think probably that's the kind of language that Putin respects because he knows there's some uh, there's some hardware behind that one. Yeah, some ability. Yeah. However competent and incompetent he may view the American execution of things, sometimes Americans will hit you with you do not know what. Yeah, overkill. But yeah, okay, let's hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, since you've touched on this, now I'm watching some of the footage that's coming out, and it's propaganda thing. Oh, look at this Russian that's been hit by this drone. Oh, great, wonderful. Yeah. Oh, really pleased that's appeared online. That guy's last minute. So this Russian coward just stopped still. He's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. He's committed suicide because he's got no choice. Why prolong it? And it's quite awful when you start watching this. This is still a life. This is still somebody's son, somebody's husband, somebody's father. Yeah. Let's get a grip on this. This conflict isn't about politics or money, people. The real people being affected are Ukrainians, Russians, and anyone else who might end up having to be running around in that region doing things. Yeah. If they're not already there. Yeah. Um, it's all fun and games until our own body bags start coming back, which is what's been angled at now. Okay.
But
So,
I think that you can bet your bottom dollar, EU, that your coffers are going to remain empty, uh, and you're going to be at the back of the queue. And if Trump allows you to sit at the table to discuss peace deals, and he's going to divide the spoils, then you should be very, very privileged, very,
yeah.
very privileged indeed.
Yeah.
I don't think Starmer's going to get there, but there you are. He'll be on the outside. He'll be like us on the outside looking in.
Um, the reports I'm getting from the UK, I don't think Starmer's going to be in in his position for very much longer, but I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that on this podcast. Yeah.
I'll give him another 3 years.
You're more generous than I am, but yeah,
I'll
you
say that that'll be the end of his term.
yeah, yeah. No, I think he'll be gone before then.
Yeah.
Um, I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, critical over talking about minerals and things this weekend. There's the British Parliament, just bringing it up to date on a Friday news.
Yeah.
The
Well,
British Parliament have just been called in for a sitting on the
well,
Saturday to discuss the
well,
future
good
of British
film,
steel.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Which
uh,
isn't British because it's owned by a Chinese company, but there you are.
well, the
So
Chinese are about to wash their hands of it. Yeah,
British steel in name only.
yeah. Just about everything else at the moment. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so
I mean, unfortunately, yeah. I'm just wondering if I've been sold yet. I've been sold by I've been sold by different organisations in the past without my consent. You know, I just yeah. It's the first time in my career I'm actually responsible for my own career, as it were. Yeah, where I go. Yeah, I'm actually quite enjoying my life at the moment. I'm not making it. It's not secure, but what is at the moment? It's like events for you. I'm probably the one with a smile. From what I can tell, I'm seeing pictures of people from the UK at the moment. Just changing the subject slightly. They're all like that, and I'm quite happy sitting on my tropical beach with my phone, taking pictures of myself. Yeah,
um,
yeah. I try
you,
not to
you,
put. Yeah,
you're finally getting around to my way of thinking around about 35 years ago.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I might
When I
not have.
arrived, when I arrived here the first time, I thought, well, this is not too bad.
Yeah,
I can handle this.
yeah. Well, just get on with it. Yeah. When I take the picture, I must admit I don't raise my middle finger to people who told me I was
Um,
crazy for coming here. Yeah, but
just give them that cynical smile.